So before we go, I just want to tell you all I'll be recording this session, and so I just for us to use in the future. Yeah. So again, like I said earlier, please make sure you ask me any questions that you have. But now, as we start, I just want to ask you all, what is one issue you've actually experienced with using the LBC library? Anyone wants to share?
One thing I've had issues with is finding articles, especially articles to support like certain statistical testing, like in the statistics course I've just finished up.
Ooh. Yes,
And
yes.
just getting ready to start the research methods course, I'm a little bit worried, a little bit nervous about the research that I'm going to need to be doing there. And of course, then I'm going to want to be doing my capstone thesis after a while here. So I know that I do.
Oh, sorry, you muted. Okay. Yeah.
Find an updated chart,
Yes.
because even like I'll go in like doing the last thesis I did, I was taught like how to like research, like put journal article or a magazine article, but it's either they have charts, but they're always 10 years old. It seems like
Yeah.
nothing is up to date. And or some sources they prefer you not use.
Yes. Yeah. And we're going to be talking about all of that. Like, yes, there are times that there's some, and which is not your fault too, right? There are times that research has not just been conducted on some issues, whereby you can have um, an updated evidence, right, for your case or for your claim, right? So, that happens, right? That happens. There are some times where you might be looking for statistical data on some claims, on some subject matters, and then you're not just able to find it, or you might not just be able to find any updated statistical data. That's normal. I just want you all to know that that's normal sometimes. Like, you might not even find any updated data, right? That's because there's just no updated data, right? Except someone wakes up one day to actually conduct that research, right? So yeah. So again, I think one of the biggest things we also have to know that all through this session, my goal is just to show you all how to use the LBC online library to find some of these kinds of sources. And so why research? I think that's the first thing we will be looking at. Like, why do we even conduct research? Can someone tell me why we conduct research? Like, from your vantage point, why do you have to conduct research before you write your essay? Or why do you need research for your essay?
It supports the topic that we're speaking on.
Yes, it's to provide supports, or even it's to provide evidence to your claims, right? So you're making a claim in your essays. Many of you will be making a claim in your essays, and then the reason why you conduct research, or the reason why you need research, is to provide evidence, right? And research does not just provide evidence to your claim, it also helps to expand your claim, right? So it's providing the rationality for your claim, right? So if you want your audience to believe what you're saying, sometimes the research that you conduct will tell you why they should believe it, or the reason why your claim is logical, right, or rational, right? And then the other thing is, it says research ensures the validity of claim, right? Validity is for you to prove that your claim is true, right? It's true that this is happening, right? You need to provide what? Evidence. You need to conduct research, right? It's so important. How many of you here watched the Kamala versus Trump debates? How many of you saw it? Give me a thumbs up if you saw it. Nobody saw the Kamala versus Trump debate.
Not interested, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, we're tired. We're tired, Golden.
Okay. Okay.
I
Right.
put the
Oh, good.
thumbs up. I put the
I can
thumbs up to we're tired.
Yes,
We're
right.
tired.
So, D'Angelo, I can see that you saw it, and George, I think George saw it too. I saw it. But then it got to a point in the debate where maybe they didn't plan for it, but it just got to a point whereby both candidates were just providing evidence to prove their claim, right? Now, we don't know if the evidence is true or not, right? But then at some point, they were just like, okay, the data says A, B, and C, right? This is why I'm right, because the data says A, B, and C. This is why I'm correct, right? So, yeah, that's why we need to conduct research, right? It ensures the validity of our claim, and it also ensures credibility of claims, right? Why should people believe me, right? People will believe you if you provide data to support your claims, right?
Hey,
So,
Golden,
yes.
you also want to be able to present some opposing claims
Yes.
because that is a way that you can make your argument stronger.
Yes. Yes. And that's so true, right? That is so true. Like, we need to provide opposing claim. We need to research that. And wow. Jolene, your son's smile is so bright. I like the smile of your son. Okay, so it says here, right? And then therefore the goal is to find sources from a trustworthy database called the library, right? So the reason why we use the online library is because it has a trustworthy database, right? It has database of ideas and books and articles that we can actually, in some ways, we are assured that the ideas in the library are credible, they are peer reviewed, and they're not dangerous ideas, right? So that's one thing we can be assured of, and it's very important that we use the library to find data, right? So I'm going to show you all how to use the library. So now, and one thing we all know, right? When you go to LBC Library, right, the first thing you see is what? The quick search and then the databases, right? How many of you have seen that before? Give me a thumbs up if you've seen. Good, right? So when you get there, that's what you see. And so let me just share my so I'm just going to share my screen right now. Sorry, give me 1 second. So if you get here, right? If you get here, you can actually like just see, if you get to the LBC website, right? You just see this right here. If you click library right here, just click library and it takes you to the library. And then there are two databases here that you should find very, very helpful, right? So one is the search icon here, or the search space right here that you can always use, right? And the other one is what we call the databases. How many of you have used the databases before to find sources? Give me a thumbs up.
I have.
Okay, good, right? So it's very important that you use the databases, not even just the search. The search icon only provides generalized data, right? It's helpful, but it just provides more generalized data. But then the database provides more specific data based on your field of study, right? So if you're studying, for instance, psychology, the database, so if I click database right here, right, you see like an alphabetized list of databases. So if I'm studying psychology, I can click on P right here. And it takes me what? If I scroll down a bit, I might find something on psychology. Okay, so look at this. Psych articles, right? So if I click this, I'll be able to find database or I'll be able to find articles or sources from the field of in the field of psychology. So we have psychology database. Let's imagine I'm studying, many of you are into theology here, right? Let's imagine I'm studying theology. I can come to T, right? Might find something. Yeah, theological commons, theological journals online, theological journal search, theology and biblical studies periodical, right? I think
I have a quick question.
yes.
When you go into the database and you go and like you just click on the first one, for instance, and it brings up all that other information. Could you save that information and go back to it later, or would that arise a cost to do that?
No, you can actually, so let me see if I'm, just to be sure that I'm answering your question well, right? So are you trying to say that if you click one of these database, let's say for instance, the theology database, right? And let's imagine I click, or let's use something else. Let's use psych articles, right? I click psych articles here, right? And I search for maybe motivational interviewing, right? And then I search, right? So is this what you're talking about? Like, let's imagine this is the source I want to use, right? Are you asking
Right.
if I'm able to save that source and later come back to it?
Correct, without having to pay for it.
No, you don't. As a student in LBC, you don't have to pay for anything when it comes to finding sources, right? So for instance, I can just, if I click this, right, I can actually save it, right? So
Okay.
you see this part that says add to folder here,
Okay.
right? So I can add to folder here, just click it, right? And it's already in my folder. So anytime I come back to this database, right, all I just need to come back to do is to come back up here, right? You see the folder, if I click that, okay, so these are all the sources I had saved earlier, right? Yeah, it's
Okay.
somewhere here. I don't, yeah. Crocs, attributional style. I think this was it, right? I think so. One of this, right? If I come back to this part, I'll be able to find all the data I've saved.
Okay.
So that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right. So again, don't worry, we're going to go over this again, right? I know I just wanted to just show you all that this is possible. You can actually find any source you're looking for in the
What-
database, right?
I'm sorry. What happens when you hit save
What do
on
you
the
mean by
right hand?
save?
You see where it says save? It's yes, right there.
Oh, no, that saves into your computer. I'll say you shouldn't click that at all, right? It would be better you save in a folder.
Add it to it for okay.
Yeah, add it to a folder. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One issue I've had is, I don't know, seems like I'm not quite understanding how to fully open the articles. Like sometimes, like all I can see is the abstract and I don't actually see the full article.
Yes, let's talk about that, right? I like the way you guys are asking questions right now. So this is good. So let's imagine, how many of you are taking a theological course? Give me a thumbs up. Like you're taking a theological degree, it could be Bible, right? One of the most popular database for that is in the A section here of the database. It's called the Atlas. Where is it? Yeah, Atlas Religion Database. This is the most popular one, right? So, and click that. So like, for instance, if I type something like Trinity, let's just say Trinity, right? Right. To pray in the Holy Spirit, So, and I'm just looking for, okay, like this, right? Let's imagine this is one that I pick. All right, I just pick this. So when you get here, right, you click on, do you see this part that says PDF full text right here? So you click that. And it brings out the whole article.
Now, if it said PDF, does that mean it downloads that into your computer?
No, but you can download it.
Okay, but it doesn't automatically download.
No, does not automatically download.
Okay.
No. All right.
I
Good
think I've
question.
always just shied away from that button because I didn't want a whole bunch of downloads in my system.
Yes, yes, yes. It doesn't automatically download. No. If
Okay.
you want to
Okay.
download it, you would have to click this up here.
Okay.
All right, download PDF.
Thanks. That's helpful.
Yeah, good. And this goes to all other databases, right? The same style, right? Yeah. Any other questions before we go on? Any other questions?
Can we do the same thing with a digital book?
That's a good question. What do you mean by digital? Okay, you mean like to download?
Yeah, like, cause my next class, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm old school. I prefer a book, but they're offering a digital book. And I really don't care for it, but I was trying to, I went on the syllabus and I was trying to print it out last night. It came up as a PowerPoint, but I'm not sure if that was it, but I still couldn't print it. So that's why I'm asking, is there a way, like when we have a digital book, because it says something about going in, I think it says something about going into Slingshot.
I don't
Is
think
that's
so.
separate from this though, right?
Yes, yes. So the
Okay.
best way, if you know, so let's imagine you're in the library right now and you're like, okay, you know, I want to print out a digital book, like, and you already know the book is in the library, right? What you need to do is just come to the search bar here and type the name of the book, right? Let's imagine there's a book called sorry. So if in the search bar, you just type the name of the book, right? Counseling and Psychotherapy, Theories and Intervention. Like, let's imagine this is the book, 6th edition. So what you want to do is that I'll say you shouldn't try to print out the whole book at the same time, right? It won't even allow you to do that, right? So you want to view the book. So you click View ebook here. And then once you get here, right, do you see where it says it will give you the option to read online, download book, download PDF chapter? I'll say you should go for download PDF chapter. So you should download chapter by chapter rather than downloading the whole book.
Okay.
Right? Yes, that's the best way to go about it. If you click download the book, download book, it's not going to work. Right? You can't download the whole book. But you can read online, right? If I click read online, the book shows here, right? Yeah. So that's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. All right. Any other questions before we move on? Any other questions?
The question I had about the Bookwise, is there a way that we can get the books? Because for me, I don't know about any of the others, but I have a hard time reading it online.
Yes, there's a way you can get the book.
I can't bring that book close to me to where I have it like right in front of me without getting right up on the screen.
Yes. Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
I
let's
could
talk about
order 'em
that.
off of, I could order them off of Amazon, but I just don't have the money to do that.
Very good. Good points. Right? Now, there are many times, D'Angelo, you want to say something?
Yeah, I literally just went through that. I ordered it. You're gonna have to show it. I'm sure you know how to show it, but I wanted 2 books, and they allowed me to order it,
Mm-hmm.
and then it can come by mail.
Mm-hmm.
They literally just sent it to my house, and
Wow.
it took about 4 to 5 days to get there. But
Wow.
you have to pay attention to your due date, so
Yeah.
that you don't any late fees or anything like that. And they send a return sticker, so you don't have to pay anything. They send a
Yeah.
return sticker for you to send the book back or whatever. And I think you have up to 10,
Mm.
10 I think it is, that you can use at any one time. So I just got 2 delivered to my house.
Yeah. And you know what, like even to like thank you for even saying that, D'Angelo. Like even to answer your question, Tammy, I'll say that there are 2 ways to go about this, right? Um, what you can actually do, Tammy, is you can download, if it's a book, you can, like I said, if the book is in the library, you can download the book and print it out, right? You just make sure you shred it immediately. You're done, right? But you can download the book and download the book chapter by chapter and then just read it in hard copy, right? That's the best way to go about it, right? Yeah, that's just the best way to go about this, right? And I don't know if that is helpful, Tammy.
It is. It's just I have a hard time doing it. So
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
Golden,
Are
yes.
we able to like look up just like a simple dictionary in the library?
Like what kind of dictionary are you talking about?
Um, like I was working on my reading class, and I needed a dictionary to look the words up, and I tried putting in the search bar dictionary, and it didn't take me to like a dictionary.
Wow, that's very interesting. It should have that, right? But again, right, George, I'll just say just use Google Dictionary. Like that's also an official dictionary, right? Yeah, you don't have to use the library, right? It's not mandatory. Um, the dictionaries from Google, they are also accepted. Okay. So let's just go to the next thing, right? So now we've talked about this, the quick search and the databases. Like I said, once you get into the LBC database, sorry, the LBC library, you're going to find quick search and databases. And like I said, the quick search will just help you to, will just help you to find generalized source data from different databases. But the database parts here will just help you to find specific data from a particular field of study, right? So that's it. All right. So the question now is, the next thing we should now talk about is, how do we find sources, right? How do we find sources? All right. Can you all just give me 1 second? I'll be back. Just 1 second, please, everyone. Okay. So now how do you how do you find sources, right? What's the path towards finding sources smartly, right? The first thing you want to have is a topic, right? The topic you are working on, right? And the second thing is that you want to conduct what we call a random Google right? You're just going through Google to search for background data, right? And how many of you have ever tried to do that before? Like before going to the library, you start with Google. How many of you have done that before? Give me a thumbs up if you've ever tried that, right? Yes, so that is good, right? And the next thing is that you want to also engage with the library search. We talked about the library search, right? And the next thing is that you want to engage the database in the library. And then you want to find sources from sources, right? There's what we call finding sources from sources. How many of you have ever done this before, right? You find an article and you find that article very beneficial, and then you go to the reference page of the article to find more sources. How many of you have done that before? Give me a thumbs up if you've done that before. Yes, so that's it, right? Okay, so like we said, the first thing is that you want to decide your topic, right? Decide your topic. Like for instance, you had several topics. So your topic or your thesis helps to narrow down your search. And the first one is like what we see here. We have some topics here like pastoral burnout, teenage bullying and social media, high school students and uniforms, the Trinity, gun control, motivational interviewing, and addiction counseling, right? So we can see all of these are topics, right? And you could conduct research on them, right? So the first thing we said, decide your topic. Now, and the next thing is that you want to, when you have your topic, you want to like perform what we call a random Google search, right? You just want to surf through Google to find sources, right? So let's try that. So let's pick a topic. Can someone tell me what topic most interests you here out of all of this topic?
Trinity.
Okay, Trinity, right? So the first thing we would want to do is perform a random Google search, right? So I'm going to share my screen. All right, so if I come here to Google, right, I can just perform a random Google search on, you know, the theology of the Trinity. All right. So this is a random Google search, right? Oops, I'm sorry, everyone. Sorry, give me 1 second. All right, so this right here is, so I just typed in Google, you know, the theology, maybe the theology of the Trinity. All right. So this is just a random Google search, and then it provides a lot of data concerning the Trinity, right? So I want you all to know something, that even some of these sources right here are also useful sources you can use in your essays, right? So there's one from Desiring God. This is a well-known source in the Christian world. All right, right here. You can find another source here. 5 things you should know about the doctrine of the Trinity. This is Legionnaire Ministry, which is actually a popular Christian database too. All right. The doctrine of Trinity is one of the most fundamental doctrines in Christianity. The doctrine of Trinity was not invented at the Council of Nicaea. The doctrine of Trinity is not fully comprehensible to human mind, right? So these are like background data, right? And the basics of the Reformed faith, the Holy Trinity, right? This is from Westminster Seminary, California. So you can use this. You can use ideas here. All right, Dawn.
Sometimes I've run into the issue when I do use Google that some of these resources want you to subscribe to them. Like it'll
Yes.
start you off like with oh, you got your information, yay, right? And then you scroll down and it's like it fades down like, hey, to finish this
Yes.
article, we need you to subscribe.
Yes. I'll say then don't use it then, right? Like just stay with, because you have a better source coming up ahead. You have your library database, right? So they can be as selfish as they want, right? But you still have the most, like you still have the most useful database from the LBC library. All right. So let's look for another topic. Like let's imagine I want to write about, now this is so important. Let's imagine I want to write about gun control. I can just type gun control. All right, so can you all see these are organizational, these are like organizational sources on gun control, right? These are, and again, many times, how many of you in your class, like your professor will ask you to use newsletters, news sources, right, to as evidence, right? Please, you can find most of these helpful news sources from Google here, right? So can you all see right here, right? So these are all helpful sources, right, that you can always use as you start off your research, right? So there was one we talked about, pastoral. Right, so there's pastoral burnout statistics, right? Pastor stress statistics from Soul Shepherding, which is actually a valid organization, right? 5% of pastors report being extremely stressed. And when was this published? Publication date is not here. That's interesting. Okay. Okay. But then this is old. This is actually old. But then these are some places where you can actually just find sources, right? And all of that. Pastoral burnout, this from 9marks. I don't know, many of you might know 9marks, right? It's causes and cures, right? So opinions, why pastors are burning out. This from New York Times. 5 shocking realities about real state of pastor burnout. Pastor stress statistics, hope for the burnt out pastor, right? So this is where you can actually just start finding your sources. But then once you're done with Google, and then you have like some of this background information to finding your sources, the next thing you want to go to is what? The library, right? You want to jump straight into the library, right? So you want to go to your LBC database, right? Library. And then once you get into the library, let's imagine we are talking about the Trinity, right? I know many times, many of us would like, the first thing we do is that we just type in what we want here, right? I'll say try as much as possible not to do that, because it will just give you like a general data. It's just going to give you general data about what you're looking for, right? But I'll advise that you start with your databases, right? So right here. So so for the Trinity, can someone tell me what kind of database would we use to find articles or sources for the Trinity? What kind of database would we use to find articles or sources for the Trinity?
Probably one of the theological,
Yes, from the theological
probably one of
data.
the theological databases.
Yes. So let's look at theological database. So we might find it in C, right? Or let's check. Yeah, theological journals. So let's look at these theological journals online. So you can click that. All right. So, well, this is not, I don't think this was helpful. I think the best one to use is still the ATLA, right? So for those of you taking theological courses, always make sure if it deals with the Bible, use the ATLA Religion Database here. ATLA Religion Database, always, right? I think the others are somewhat confusing. So you click that, and then you can type maybe Trinity doctrine, right? And then you search. All right, why not do with the Trinity, doctrine, discipline, doxology, and contemporary Trinitarian discourse? All right, transformation of the Trinity doctrine in English scholarship, right? So these are all articles right there. And for some of you, you might be saying, how do I, like, for some of you, you might want to look for recent articles, right? So you can sort it right here. Do you see this part here? So you can move it down to maybe from, I don't know, maybe from 2010 or 2000, right? Let's just do 2000. Yeah, and to show you recent articles, right? The doctrine of Trinity, intellectual construct, or ontological reality, right? So another thing you could also do is if you want a peer-reviewed article, right? Because many times your professors will ask for a peer-reviewed article, so you click it here, right? Peer-reviewed, all right? So you click that, and to result into, and to provide only peer-reviewed articles, all right? So let's choose another topic. Like we talked about, like, let's imagine we are here. So let's imagine we're talking about the idea of gun control, for instance, right? Can someone tell me, I know this is hard, but what database would you use to find articles on gun control? Anyone, you can give a guess.
Is there a database called Crime or anything?
Yes,
Okay.
good. Good job. All right. So you can come to C. All right, C right here. Let's check. Yeah, we have the criminal justice database right here. All right, so let's click that. Okay, so you type in maybe gun control. Let's see what happens. Wow, this is a lot of articles on gun control. All right, do you see that? Do you see that? A lot. There are some of you, because I've experienced this with many students. Let's imagine we are writing on the topic of, I know even as popular as this topic is, many students always find it hard to find research on it. Let's take, for instance, okay, the topic of abortion. Where would you go to? The topic of abortion, what database would you use? So you need to also think about the topic of abortion is what aspect of life do we talk about abortion in our society today? Like we talk about abortion is related to the health sector, right? The health sector, the political sector, the
Yeah.
social, right? So you can
Birth
start,
control, maybe?
what do you say?
Maybe birth control?
Yeah, so that's the health sector, right? So you can come to H here, we might find something. Health and medical collection, right? Healthcare administration database. So I can click that. Now let's type in abortion. Wow, this is a whole lot of sources on abortion. Guess what I've seen, like I've been teaching I've been teaching research at Lancaster Bible College, and many students still always find it difficult to find peer-reviewed research on the topic of abortion. But this is a lot right here. Right? So the main thing is this. The trick is just going through the database. Right? So let me ask you, let's do one more. What if I want to write on the topic of even though I don't believe in this, but maybe high school students wearing school uniforms or students wearing school uniforms, right? What database would that be? Anyone wants to try?
I think it's right where you are at academic, maybe.
It could be academic, but what else? What field of occupation?
Education.
Education, good job, right? So let's click education. Sorry, let's click E, all right? Okay, let's see. Let's see if we'll find something education. Yeah, we have education. Education database right here. You click that, and then what you want to click here is maybe school uniform in maybe public schools. It's right here. Let's see. Yeah, see this? School uniforms, academic achievement, and uses of research. The relationship of school uniform to student attendance, achievement, and discipline. Right? This is a lot of data right here on school uniforms. Both supporting and opposing school uniforms, right? Because I've gone through this before, like there are some data here that opposes school uniforms. There's some data here that supports, right? Do you all see it? Right? So again, the key is to what? The key is to go through the database, right? All right, can someone give me a topic they've been struggling with? Is there a topic you've been struggling to find data? Anyone? Anybody?
For instance, like mine, I had did depression in my other class.
Okay. Go on.
And it was kind of hard to get the information because I had to really search for it, but I finally found it. So it depends on what you look for, is how hard it is to get that information. Because sometimes you
Yes.
look in different sections before you could even find it.
Yes, right. But again, right, Tammy, you need to go through the data. Next time, go through the database, right? Can anyone tell me? So, Tammy, let me ask you, when you were writing about depression, what were you arguing about? So what was the argument?
It was just the whole ordeal of the cure, what can you take for the depression, like what kind of mental health issues was there?
Okay, good.
It
So
was it was tough.
yeah, so you're looking for you were thinking through the treatments, right? The treatments
Yeah,
for depression,
treatment.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So can someone else tell me what database would we look at if we're looking for treatments for depression? If we're searching for sources.
Mental health.
Yeah, that's what I was
Okay,
thinking.
let's see mental health. We do not have anything called the mental health database. What else?
Psychology?
Psychology. Good job. Should go to psychology, right? And Jolene, by the way, it was your son that answered the question, not you. Oh, yeah, right? Psychology, right? So just click that, and then you can just type in maybe depression amongst working. Maybe I'll just make it more specific. Maybe employees. All right. Yeah. right? So this is one, right? Can you see a lot right here? Right. And sometimes when you, so something I want to also mention is there are times when you're going to conduct a research and then it will showcase a lot of research that is about that is conducted for other countries, right? So you might want to like sort out your search to ensure that your research is only talking about the issue from the scope of the US, right? So you can actually change locations right here. Like if you click locations, just US, right? So that the research is only talking about issues in the US, right? So yeah. So that's it, right? That's it. All right. But do we all get this right now? Do we all get this? How many of you will say you've used this before? Let me
I
see.
have.
You've not? Okay, D'Angelo has used this before, like just going through databases. Sorry, can one more time, give me a thumbs up if you've used this database to search before. All right, so I'll just say, make sure you're using the database. Like it's so important. Don't just go straight into searching, right? Now, another trick about this is, let's go back to, let's imagine okay, let's search for, okay, can someone tell me if you're searching for, let's imagine you have a topic on pastoral burnout. What database would you use? It doesn't have to just be one database. It could be several. Pastoral burnout. What database would you use?
Might that come under psychology too? I mean, it's a capstone,
Yeah.
but it's not directly theological.
Yes, you could use psychology, you could use theology too, right? So let's start with the theological one, right? So like I said, always use the Atlas religious database for religious ones, right? So we can say pastoral burnout. Yeah, okay, it's right there. Search. Okay, so this is one research. One other thing you can always do is you can, so when you open the search, let's imagine this is the source I want to use. I want to use this source in my essay, right? I click that. And then the next thing I want to do is, open the source, all right? I click PDF full text. And then after reading the source, I'm like, yay, good. I love this source, right? I want to use the source, but I still need other sources, right? One thing you could also do, right, just to be smart about it is you can always like go to the reference page of your source, especially the source that has been beneficial for you. You can go to the reference page and just kind of scroll through and look for, within this reference page, look for any source you think will be helpful for you, right? That's one thing you can always do, all right? Like for this, since I'm writing about pastoral burnout, okay, maybe I can use this, right? The impact of behaviors upon burnout among parish-based clergy, right? So what I can do is that I can copy the title and check the library database to see if it's there, right? So I'm just going to copy this title, right? and then go back to my search. All right, and look for it. So I'll paste that title here and then search.
Can I just interrupt to ask what the other two search bar things there are?
Oh, yes, we can talk about that. Yes, let's talk about that. Good question, right? But then, can you see once I pasted the title, it came up here, right? It's right here. And then I can look at it. Maybe you can just click it again, open it, and you're like, oh, after reading it, you're like, oh, this is helpful, right? And then you use it for your essays, right? So please always make sure you also like try as much as possible to make use of the reference pages in your beneficial sources, right? Go through it and say, okay, probably this source here might be helpful, right? Okay. Now, the next thing we can also talk about is some of the challenges that many of us face, when we are searching for sources. But then how do we use this bar here, this space, or these search bars here? One thing, the search bar here is actually gives us options when we're searching, right? For instance, there are times I might be writing about pastoral burnout, right? And maybe I want to also talk about the fact that pastoral burnout leads to maybe let's see this pastoral burnout. Because this has been argued a lot. So pastoral burnout, right? And then maybe I want to argue that pastoral burnout leads to what's it called? Forgetting what it's called. Yeah. Sexual misconduct. Let's put it that way. Right? So I can actually like type sexual misconduct down here. Instead of saying pastoral burnout leads to sexual misconduct. All right? Instead of searching that way, I don't think that's advisable, right? It's better for me to just type here sexual misconduct and then search. All right? Spouse experience of clergy sexual misconduct, the approachableness of U.S. Catholic bishops. All right. Now, I want you all to look at this. Yeah, it brings out all of these results that are helpful, but there are times that, sometimes, like, if you look at all of these results here, nothing here talks about pastoral burnout. All of this result, nothing here talks about pastoral burnout except sexual abuse and all of that. So what you want to now do is you want to now put pastoral misconduct in quotes, right? You put it in quotes, right? So that the search will specifically look for pastoral burnout, all right? And then you search. Hopefully that will, oops. Is it the spelling? Let's check. I don't know why that's acting up. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, it's right here. We have pastoral burnout. I don't know why this field is not working, Jolene. Normally, it's supposed to like just put in, okay, let's put in something else, maybe stress. Yeah, I have no idea why that's not working.
Thanks. I think I still get the idea.
Yeah, but then you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to like just search for something else, including the main search, you can always add it here, right? And there are times when if you want to search for an author, right? Maybe let's put an author's name. Maybe James White. So you don't put it like this. What you need to do is you need to select a field here and then put author, right? And you click that and then you search, right? To bring out all the articles by James White, right? So that's it. Okay, any questions about this? Any other questions? Dawn, Glenda, Chamika, Brianna, any questions? Linda?
No, you're
India?
doing a great job.
Okay.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. You're teaching me some stuff. I'm gonna start try to utilize it. It's
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to utilize it this
Mhm.
this next class.
Yes. Yeah. So again, yeah, please make sure you use this. Like it's really helpful, right? I know many students, trust me, because they don't know this, research is just hard and complicated. They go back to your professor and say, you know what, I can't just find anything in the library, right? So if you go through the database, you'll be fine, right? That's one thing you need to know, right? Yeah, you go through the database. Now, this is why I want to ask you all this question, right? Is there any topic you have in mind? Anyone here, you have a topic that you're like, oh, it seems like this topic is hard for me to find articles on this topic. Anyone? Let's walk.
Recidivism.
Huh?
Recidivism.
Okay, so first of all, you need to tell me what that means so that I can know the database. I don't know what that is. Okay, what's that?
Recidivism is what when it comes to criminals, when them coming like being repeat offenders.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. You know what? As an immigrant, you know what I love about Americans? You have a name for everything. In my country, we just say that thing.
You say what? That thing?
Yeah, right.
Well, y'all say that thing, and some things we say John. So
Yes, right. Yeah,
Or
but
thingamabob.
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
that.
Thingamabobb, whatchamacallit.
What you
Mhm.
call it? Yeah. Well, that's so good. All right. I love that. I love that. So what database would we use for that?
Criminal.
Yes,
Criminal.
criminal justice, or there should be something on legal. So let's check if there's anything on legal, you know.
Probation.
Let's go to J. Let's see if there's something here. Okay, so later on, we're going to come back to JSTOR. We'll talk about JSTOR in this session, right? We'll come back to that. So let's go to, yeah, we'll just use C. Should be something on law, right? I'm coming. Sorry. Give me 1 second, everyone. Okay, so we have criminal justice data, but just criminal, wow. History, political. Okay, so these are some, yeah. So criminal justice. Can you spell, I'm sorry, can you spell
Recidivism.
yes.
RECIVIDISM.
Okay. All right. It even has the option there. Yeah, so there are a lot of data here on that. All right. Yeah. So how do you feel about this? Have you ever used this before, Dawn?
No.
Yeah.
No,
So
I just go straight to Google, type
yeah,
in what I want, and then put like magazine article or journal article, and normally get it that way.
yeah. So see, this is a lot of data
Yeah.
on this topic, right? A lot. And sometimes you might not see the, the topic we're looking for, you might not see it as part of the title. So that's something I wanted to mention. You might not see it as part of the title. You might just see it as part of the abstract, right? Like here,
Okay.
so it mentions the word,
Yeah.
right? So that's something you could make use of. And yeah, any questions? Any other person with a topic before we talk about JSTOR? Any other person? Okay, so let's check that same. So right here, this HEIN online, that's another database you can use, right? So let's go back there. Let me just show you what I just did now. So there is this part for many of you that will be writing on legal and social issues, especially political issues, right? You're writing topics on political issues. Like this Hain Online Academic is very helpful, right? So once you click on it, it will show you this, right? And then Law Journal Library, right? You could use, it's a lot of topics here, right? Criminal justice and criminology, right? It just provides basic information on several topics, right? So Law Journal Library, if I click that, okay, so if I type, sorry, can you spell that again? Recivism.
RECIVIDISM.
Let's see if it will give us something. Yeah, this is a lot of data on that. And this is like even statistical data on, like it provides some statistical data on all of them. Right. So these are some areas where you can find sources. Okay. So let's talk about JSTOR, right? So there's a database called JSTOR. I always tell students that anytime you're going through the library and you're looking for sources, you can always use JSTOR, right? As probably your first go-to, right? So if you click J here, you see this JSTOR, right?
Yes.
So JSTOR contains general data about several, you don't need all of this. So if you have like an institution, so it contains several data about several field of studies, right? You might not find what you're looking for here, but you probably find some helpful sources, right? So even on the religious aspects, right? You can find something on pastoral, burnout. All right, can you see this? Ministry-related burnout and stress coping mechanism among Assemblies of God ordained clergy in Minnesota, the myth of clergy burnout, the factor and structure of a measure of burnout specific to clergy, right? You find a lot on JSTOR, right? And again, it's not just on theological issues, like even political issues, right? Or health issues, a lot on abortion here. Yeah, right. So use this. And JSTOR uses more of peer-reviewed articles and journals. So you can actually trust JSTOR. Yeah. So JSTOR should be your your go-to, right? One of your go-to if you're looking for sources, right? And you can always download your sources, you can view them. Yeah. If you're a student of
You can put your
Lancaster Bible
sources in the
College,
file too.
huh?
You can put your sources in that same file too. Or
Yes, you can
folder?
actually, yes,
Yeah.
you can save sources to file. I'm so sorry about that.
No, you're
Yes,
fine.
you can save sources to file if you but you need to log in first with your student account, right? So once you log in, you just click save here. All right, so make sure you log in with your institutional account. Like you see this part that says find my institution, click that, then you type Lancaster Bible College.
Mhm.
Oh, it's right there. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, to tell you to put in your email. Sometimes you might need to create you probably need to create a new email, right? Yeah, and that's it basically. Just provide not your so you provide your LBC email, all right? Or yeah, and then same. And then you can provide a new password. Okay. Then you can create an account, just create the account, and then you can start using it. All right. So just make sure that when you're creating the account, you're using your LBC email. That's it. You can provide a new password, and then you can save. All right. So once you save, you'll be able to like come back to JSTOR and retrieve the document later. All right. Any questions? Okay. So I'm just gonna go around like George. How do you feel about this? Good, right? Awesome. All right. So aside from one thing I'll just say is this, aside from JSTOR, the last database I'll say that should be your go-to. So JSTOR, and the other one is called, I think, Sage. It starts with S, right? Should be Sage. So, I'm sorry. Oh, maybe, I think maybe LBC does not have access to Sage again. I know they had access to Sage. Probably they don't have access again. So, but another one is Sage. You could also access it through Google, right? You can access it through Google too. Use that. And that's also very, very helpful. But JSTOR, use the library database to find sources, right? Always go through that path first, right? All right. Any final questions before we go? Any final questions?
No, just thank you. I appreciate you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. Have a good one, everyone.
Okay,
All
good
right.
night.
Good night.
Night.
Night, everybody.
Night.